listening to the SCV Connected podcast with my mom, Kelly O'Keefe.
I'm here today with Christen Lawrie from Children's Orchard is how I reached out to you.
Yes.
But little did I know there's so much more.
So much more.
But how did Children's Orchard come into the picture and then all the other
things.
Yeah.
Fun story. It's been in the community for 25 years.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So we have like third generation shoppers at this point, which is really cool. My husband and I have lived in the Valley for 16 years. My husband grew up here actually, so a little bit longer than 16 years. And we have 4 kids. We homeschool them. And at one point I was a nurse and my husband was actually a local pastor. So he pastored a church here for 15 years. And it just became harder and harder really to make a living that way. So we actually looked into business and tried actually several different like frozen yogurt, pizza shop.
No
we
way.
looked into all these things.
Okay.
My husband actually managed Vincenzo's for a while when he was really young. Yeah. And so he was like, let's do a pizza shop. And I was like, I know nothing about pizza. So I was still working at the hospital. I worked at Holy Cross. And this little shop came up, Children's Orchard, on the business for sale.
So have you ever been there before? Were you going to the place a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
so
was
you
like
knew.
a religious customer.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Probably
4
there-
kids.
Yeah. I mean,
totally
every
get it.
week, really. I would go in, take some things that we had outgrown or toys or whatever, see if I could get a little bit of store credit, get the next size up. Huge fan.
Okay.
Followed them religiously. Every sale. I mean, they knew me by name. I knew them by name.
Aww.
I was a huge fan. So when it came up for sale, we were like, oh my gosh, let's just try and let's see. And it just worked out pretty smoothly. Everything just fell into place. And so we wound up purchasing it in 2019. So we've been the owners since then. Yeah.
Wow. So is it a lucrative business? Like, walk me through all of this. Okay. I'm so fascinated. We do go to a Children's Orchard.
Okay.
And I wish I had found it sooner, but my kids love it.
Yay!
They just, because there's like American Girl stuff.
Yes.
There's everything. And I don't feel guilty because I'm like, well, we brought stuff in already. Or usually I'll bring the stuff when they're not there.
Yes, right? I know. You're
Yeah.
like, I do the same thing. I'm like purging when they're not around and I hide it and stick it in the back of the car.
Do you just get so much stuff from the community? Nowadays, we're always purging. So what happens to all the stuff that...
What happens? It's a really
Oh
great
my
question. So, I mean, to unpack it, it's not actually a super lucrative business. Our margins are really tight. And part of that is just business in California.
Okay.
It's tough. It's a tough state to do business in. It's so expensive. And when people bring a basket into our shop, like we pay our employees to look through it.
So there's so much that goes into
So much.
It's not just volunteers. It's
No.
paid staff.
It's paid staff. It's a for-profit. It's not a nonprofit. So I'm trying to think, what were the other questions? So we get a ton of items, like so many. In fact, when we first bought the store, we would have days where like 80 different people would bring in tubs of...
Oh my gosh.
Like our front was completely filled. Our back room completely filled. You could not walk anywhere because that's how much stuff gets brought in.
Oh my goodness.
So I forget when, but a couple years ago, we moved to like a reservation system.
Yes, I'm very familiar with that.
I know,
Okay.
which made people really upset. But honestly, it was getting to be a safety thing for our
Right.
staff.
I could see that.
It was just, we were overwhelmed with the amount of stuff. So that's not a problem. We get plenty in.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
And we do get amazing products in sometimes
yes.
that you're just like, I'm so thankful because it's not going to a landfill.
Right.
If someone's not going to use it, someone else will. And then I don't know if people know this, but we pay cash back to the community. You could choose cash or store credit. And so I think it was last year we put back into the community $160,000 plus dollars.
Oh my gosh.
Cash.
Wow.
That's not counting store credit.
wow.
So it's really neat if you think about the model of the store just inherently gives back to the community.
Yeah.
And that's a whole range of families. So we serve a lot of maybe lower income families, really kind of depend on our prices and our deals in terms of clothing their kids, like just very practical. And then we also have maybe families who aren't struggling, but they're very environmentally conscious.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Clothing styles change so quickly and then it just goes into the landfill.
Yes. Yeah. I had talked to someone at some point in the community who was like, yeah, I was trying to convince my wife to come to your store because everything we don't use, she just tosses. And I was like, oh!
Yeah.
Just because that's what you do, you're like, you can't imagine tossing it. It's perfectly fine.
But I think another side of that is like, as a mom, I didn't realize how much I would accumulate. I mean, stuffed animals alone, let alone clothes and shoes. And then if you have generous friends that give you hand-me-downs, it really does become so much. And then when you go to like declutter, the thought of putting it in a trash can means it's going into the earth. And how does that break down? So it does feel so much better to bring it to Children's Orchard, get credit, that kind of thing. And then, I mean, kids have so many spirit days and so many different things and sports. And it's just been such a blessing for our family to go there and get, like, whether it's soccer equipment or, you know, a new 4th of July dress I think we went for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about that T-shirt that you're going to need for school that they're really just going to wear once. Right. Because next year it'll be too small. Right?
Yep.
So come to us, get it for a fraction of the price, and know that you're not contributing more to all of our environmental crises.
Yeah. Okay, so was there a point where you had to leave your career as a nurse?
So I spent 2 years doing both. Okay. And it was nuts. I do not recommend this. And I don't really know how I even cope because it was too much.
Yeah, and I mean, opening your own business, you kind of know you're going to have to give it so much of your time. You're going to eat, sleep, and breathe this business, but then you also have 4 kids and you're a nurse.
Yeah.
Oh my, like you're not Superwoman?
No,
How did
really
you
not. I cried so much.
Did you? Yeah. Okay.
I just spent a lot of time crying.
You're human.
Totally human.
Okay.
And honestly, I had to ask for help. Like, we hired a babysitter and I would ask her, like, I'd leave her a list of, can you get these math problems done with my youngest and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of have to figure things out to make it work. But I worked 7 to 7 at the hospital, like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And there were so many days where I would get up and I would get to the store by 5. So I could work for, almost like 90 minutes, like push it to the very last moment. I know I have to leave by this time or else I won't make it down to Holy Cross. And then, I'd get there in my scrubs. And then at the end of the day, sometimes I'd have to come back to the store after my shift at the hospital in my scrubs. So we did that for 2 years, and
my gosh,
it was a lot. I lost some hair.
God.
Ladies, watch your cortisol levels.
Oh my gosh.
Had to rebalance that. And so at that 2-year mark is when we really sat down and we were like, we either need to be all in business, or we need to seriously consider not having a business.
Right.
And so what do we want for the future to be? And it was really scary because business has a lot of advantages. So we can, things like cell phone and internet, the business pays for those things. So there's some expenses that we're covering, but it wasn't like we were making a whole bunch of money.
Right.
And so leaving the nursing field was kind of this, I'm not going to get that paycheck every other week. Are you sure? I really didn't want to. My husband is more entrepreneurial. I don't know if you listen to like how I built this.
So he would take the risk.
Totally. I am not. So I'm a little more risk adverse and I prefer a little more security in my life. But it really did feel like, what could it be if we just decided to go all in with business? Okay. The potential really is quite a bit bigger. Right. Not that it's guaranteed.
Right.
But then you also think, well, what if you don't try?
Right. So you had to go for it.
Had to go for it.
Okay.
So I quit my job officially. And then a couple months later, we got this amazing opportunity to buy another business called the Closet Trading Company. So this other opportunity is a luxury women's resale. So it's kind of the same concept as Children's Orchard, where we bring things in from clients, much fancier level. So we're selling things like Chanel and Dior and Louis Vuitton fun.
That is so cool.
Yes.
So are you
really
you're
fun.
in Santa Monica doing this?
Yes.
So do you get like celebrity assistants that like drop
Yes.
things off? Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
We get a lot of stylists. We actually work with a lot of major influencers as well.
Really?
So we have 2 locations. We have Santa Monica, the Closet Trading Company, and then we have Woodland Hills.
Can you is there anything online? Like, can I go online and find a
Yes.
Chanel purse?
Yes. I have
So
some
cool.
gorgeous things right now. You should totally come.
Okay, I know. I'm so
I'll do
excited.
a styling session or something. I don't know.
For sure.
So both of our stores offer free styling services. Our girls are amazing.
Wow.
They'll put a look together for you. It's really fun.
Okay, so I'm going to make a girls' day out of it.
Yes.
Bring some girlfriends and we'll come.
Yes. We usually have bubbly on hand, so you can have a little bubbly while you're shopping, and it's a really fun store. So same thing, like we're bringing items in that people aren't using, or sometimes they've never used. So
Right. That's
brand
crazy.
new with tags, like never used for whatever reason. And I'm more often than not, really. Wow. And sometimes like bags will be brand new because like one time it was a client, it was like an old boyfriend had given a very generous, like beautiful gift,
Oh my
right?
gosh. Stop. That's so funny.
And this client didn't want it anymore because they weren't together, and she was like, "Sell it. I don't want it." Like, and never used it.
Wow.
So
Oh
gorgeous
my gosh.
designer bag, brand spanking new, like amazing.
So, yeah, I see how neat it is that you have both ends because they both, I mean, that complements
Yeah,
for sure. So if like maybe Children's Orchard isn't making as much, the profit margin over here must be huge.
Yeah. The profit margin at the other stores is a lot better.
Okay. But rent probably.
Still, the cost of doing business in California, still huge. So when we talk, you know how in COVID it was all about small business, help small business.
Yep.
It really is true. It takes a lot for a small business to be profitable. And like they always say 2 to 3 years of owning your business before you're profitable.
Yeah.
And COVID set most everybody back to the very square one.
Wow.
So a lot of small businesses are starting over. So anyway, like that's my little soapbox plug.
Yeah. Wait. So then what did
Shop
you
at
do?
your small
What you guys
business.
do for during COVID?
Well,
you couldn't have people in the store.
No, we couldn't. So we were closed.
Wow.
We were, non-essential. So the stores were closed, and
How
it was
scary.
so scary. I mean, the government did provide assistance and things like that. So we were able to stay open. Thankfully. It's, we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. But I think a lot of small businesses are still recovering.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So if you can think about, I know it costs more to go buy a candle at like one of my favorites, Maison on Main Street. Shout out. Hi, Kathleen. I love her. But she has a beautiful gift shop where she sells beautiful things, candles and all. It's cheaper at Target. It is.
Right.
But I want Kathleen to stay open.
Right.
So I buy my candle at Kathleen's.
So I love getting to know you. I love like putting a face behind like the logo, the storefront. Okay, so you have 3 businesses. Mm-hmm. What's next? Like, are you going to be acquiring even more? I think I heard rumblings of a nonprofit.
Yes.
Okay.
So my husband, when he left pastoring full time, we actually joined a nonprofit. It's called Novo. And so what we've really been working towards is partnering with a nonprofit called Saving Innocence. They're actually local. They're in LA County. They rescue children, minors, out of sex trafficking. And it's
so crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that it happens close to Santa Clarita.
Yeah.
In our little like bubble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just living in the United States, like we're so blessed. And so it's just crazy to think that sometimes we think things like child trafficking, no, that happens there, not here. But
no.
Wow.
It really is like we've had meetings with the directors to talk about different things and opportunities. And I mean, you come away really kind of having nightmares.
Wow.
It's very real. It's like horrifying what's happening. And it's kids that are, the kids who are at risk, like maybe their parents are working really hard and so they're not around a lot and, things happen. So anyway, we really want to see more justice for those kids.
Okay.
And I'll get all worked up. I'm going to try not to.
Yeah. No, it's hard not to, especially as moms. Oh my gosh.
Seriously, right?
Yeah.
Like, I went to a talk where we heard a survivor share her story, and I was just like, it's devastating. Devastating. So one thing that we would really like to do is in all of our stores, all 3 stores, we have lots of things that come in that aren't maybe up to the par of what we would put out on the floor for our shoppers.
Okay.
Because as a resale, it's different than thrift, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going through it. You're making sure it's a current style, that it's clean, that it's gently used. If it's more used, we try to like price it at $1, you know?
Right.
So we do our best. There's a lot of things that are still totally wearable that might be just an older style or whatever.
Right.
So what we would like to do is actually open up a shop for Saving Innocence. So like a thrift store, a nonprofit, where it can kind of serve a multi-purpose in terms of the money that comes in would benefit the organization, Saving Innocence, but it could also provide a place for their graduates to have some on-the-job experience, maybe a little bit of training, because as you can imagine, if you've lived like that since you were 11,
Right.
you have no concept of what a normal job.
Oh my gosh, no. Yeah.
Right? Like you don't know how to dress yourself
Wow.
for like normal life. Like there's so many facets aside from the actual trauma. They would not know because they would have no reason to know because their whole life they've been earning money doing something else.
Oh my gosh. So Novo, break this down. Like how does...
It's an international missions organization.
Okay. And then Novo is going to then partner with Saving Innocence.
Yeah. So we're on staff with Novo.
Okay.
So we technically would partner with Saving Innocence.
Okay.
So Novo is kind of like an umbrella
Okay.
for us and really just even legally. I mean, they support us. They are amazing at caring for staff. So they offer all kinds of resources to their staff, and we get together and have conferences and things like that.
Nice. Okay.
Which is great. So they're kind of like the overarching organization. And then we have our own nonprofit, 501(c)(3).
Yeah.
And so we have our own, and that would kind of be the umbrella that partners with Saving Innocence.
That is a great idea.
We're still, like, it's still in the talking phases, but that's the goal.
Do you see that happening before 2024, or that's like the next couple years?
Yes. So if it were up to my husband, we would open tomorrow. And I was like, time out.
Pump the brakes. Hold on here.
We'd have like another shop and the thrift shop.
Yeah.
So
are your kids getting older? Can they like start working?
Yes, you'll see my kids in Children's Orchard all the time.
Stop.
Yes.
Okay.
My 14-year-old son works there and he's so cute. He'll be talking to women who are like, you know, older women, and he's like, so where are you going? Are you taking a trip? Like, he's so cute. And my girls work there as well.
I'm just so in awe of all the things that you do
man.
and that you have planned. I'll have to connect you with the Rise Foundation. I was just in here speaking with them, and they are a nonprofit that's local, and they work directly with the social worker. So they have a warehouse where they'll store items like that, and the social worker can come shopping. It's not guest facing in the sense of like a neighbor could just walk in.
Yeah.
But I think that's so neat that there's more of these kind of secondhand stores with causes popping up, like the Closet on Main Street. I think that helps single women's outreach. There's the Assistance League.
Yes.
So I guess there's a huge market for that.
I know. It's really great. I think thrifting in and of itself is kind of like a sport. Like there are some people who are very devoted to thrifting. And so when you can open up a place, and there's no shortage of stuff.
Right.
Like,
No.
we all have so much. Like I think every week I can donate more and I still am fine. So it would be really great to just tap into that thrifting market, but have it obviously benefit these people who really need our help.
Is there one segment of everything you do you're more passionate about? Or
oh man, that's a really great question. I don't know. My personality is like, I love all the things.
Okay.
So I can never pick a favorite because I just love them all.
I could see how you would love like certain aspects too. Maybe if Children's Orchard, if you started that first, it has a special place in your heart. But then you probably meet people along the way that affect you differently too. Or
absolutely. I call Children's Orchard the little shop that could because it really COVID was rough, and I'm like, it's the little shop that could. I love it. I love what we can offer to our families that come shop with us. So I love that part. I love our other shops too because it's so fun. Do you get to like talk to stylists, and in my normal life at least, Chanel is not a part of my normal life. So I'll just throw that out there.
fun. It's almost like playing dress up.
Yes, it can be really fun. And then I love, actually, in terms of like running the businesses, my favorite thing, honestly, is marketing.
Really?
I love it. I think it's so cool. I think there's business enough for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I love sharing like fun businesses that I love. I love Instagram. I love
Yeah, so do you do
graphics.
all the posts?
Yes.
For both? Okay, for all your businesses.
I mean, it's a lot, but at Children's Orchard, we've always done pop-up events. So I will invite vendors, like whether it's makers or bakers or treats or whatever, coffee carts, to come out and do a pop-up event, and it's totally free. You do not have to pay a space fee. It's just fun.
Yeah.
You know?
So you like partnering with different people in the community. That's so cool. What would you say to someone that is maybe a female wanting to go into business, like maybe another woman, another mom?
Oh, well, that's really...
I feel like you could write a book on this kind of stuff.
I'm like, how could I narrow it down? I think, so, and you probably know, when you are working for yourself, you are working harder than you will ever work.
Yes, and there is no Geek Squad. There's no
Nothing.
IT department. You are it. You're everything.
It's you, baby.
Yes.
And you can almost like work nonstop because... Honestly, I can do most everything from my phone. So I work all day long. Before I came in here, I was in the car. I was making a reel.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I like made 2 drafts. I bought an ad, like from my phone. So I would say, but if you have something that you feel like is a felt need in the community, go for it. Okay. Like, why not? So I was talking with a friend of mine actually because we homeschool, there's like a felt need for like a hybrid, like a cottage school. Mm-hmm. I could drop my kids off for 2 days, but keep them home for the other days. But I really need these kinds of classes. And I'm like, there are so many families like that. And my friend would be amazing at running a school like that.
Oh my gosh.
Like just do it.
Yeah.
But just know going in, it's so hard.
There's going to be tears.
So hard.
But it's so worth it. Like the wins are high and the
Yes.
lows are low.
Yes. So one of the things that I love doing is listening to podcasts with entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Because every one of them, no matter how many billions they've made,
Right.
they all have had sleepless nights.
Aww.
They've all come close to bankruptcy. They've all lost everything and had to start over. Like,
Oh my gosh.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Every
Wow.
single one. So if you want to go into business, and this is not MLMs, this is like, you know, business.
Okay.
You just have to know that it's going to take a lot of hard work, and you should probably plan on at least 2 years before you quit. If it hasn't been 2 years yet, don't quit.
Oh my gosh. And I heard somewhere someone said, don't quit on a bad day.
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
Don't quit on a bad day.
Yeah.
And figure out time, make margin. So I'm not naturally a planner. It's just not me.
Okay.
I kind of like fly by the seat of my pants and, you know, spontaneous.
I'm kind of like that too. Like inspirational spark with this.
Yes.
This is like my creative baby, so to speak, / business. And I'm like, oh, I am a planner. I'm an achiever. But then sometimes it's like, well, creatively something will spark. And
Yes. And so if that's more of you and you're going into business, just know you're going to have to develop some tools. So I've had to really work hard and be intentional about developing tools. Just simple, like I have a planner now. I write it down.
Okay. Yeah.
Which before I never would have. But there's that book, What Got You, right? Good to Great. What got you here won't get you there.
That's
so just think about that. Like,
Okay.
what would you need to really get there that maybe doesn't come naturally to you? Because there's going to be those things.
How do you create margin with family, like with kids, not being on your phone?
Yeah.
Like or is it a constant struggle?
Constant struggle.
Oh my gosh, I love how real you are.
Yeah,
It is.
It's a constant struggle. I have a basket by the door. And I do my best to plop the phone in the basket.
Okay.
And inevitably, the moment I do that, somebody calls me.
Oh man. Yeah.
But I think it comes in waves, and you just it's a learning curve.
Right.
So and I tend to be very open with my kids. So I always apologize, especially because now I have teenagers, and teenagers will tell you.
Oh man.
When you are messing up.
Oh.
Like, well, you told me to get off my phone, but you're on your
yeah.
phone.
Oh my gosh, my 8-year-old. Yep. You said no phone time for this family, like activity or family day, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, totally. And so then I just own it. You know what, buddy? You are right. I did say that. And I am on my phone, and I apologize. I'm going to put it away now. So I think as long as you're, kind of honest about, I'm not perfect either.
Right.
I'm also working on it. I'm sorry.
For sure.
But yeah, phone is a struggle.
It is, because you can do so much from it. Wow. Okay. So we were
It's a
not
struggle.
alone. I'm
Nope,
so glad.
not
oh
alone.
my gosh. How do you develop like community, or does your businesses inherently provide that since you have employees? Do you ever, because it gets lonely sometimes. Do you have other entrepreneurs or small business owners that you meet with, or?
I actually am working on that because it was something. So Maison, actually, on Main Street, that sweet little gift shop, boutique. It's gorgeous in there. She's done an amazing job. Kathleen has been super sweet, and she actually hosted a pop-up for the Closet Trading Company, which was very fun. We brought some things out. Like, people got to shop her things and our things. It was so fun. And we're getting together for lunch, and I just thought, I need to do more of this. Because I think... everybody says this. Men in business and women in business is a little different, because I think as women and mom, we have the constant running tally of, oh my gosh, the kids need this, and then I got to do this, and oh my gosh, groceries, and oh my gosh, dinner. And, right?
Yep.
And then you also have to perform well at your business stuff.
Yep. Oh, for sure. And then you have to be a wife that's intentional. And so how do you... do all the things.
So I was like, oh my gosh, it would be so fun to have like a lunch bunch.
That's cute.
Women in business or something, even if it was once a month, because I think community has been really hard. I have wonderful friends. Like, don't get me wrong. My friends are amazing, and I love them, and I'm so thankful. But there is kind of that little, if you don't own a business, it's sometimes hard to relate.
It is. Yeah.
Right? And when you're talking, like, I've loved talking with Kathleen because she had all those COVID experiences, and like, how do we figure out marketing, and oh my gosh, the algorithm, just all those things.
For sure.
It's so fun to relate. Like, oh, you get it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, it's so important.
So maybe like I'll have lunch bunch with you.
Yeah, let me invite me to the lunch bunch. That's so cute. It's so neat to see all that you're doing in our community. Wow.
It's been a wild ride for sure, but I guess that's kind of where God has us, and I love making new connections, and it's been really fun to...
Do your kids want to go into business?
At least one of them does.
Okay.
She's hysterical. She's like on the ball. Oh. She is like organized and together and with it. She works at the store. She's only 13, but she talks about her future real estate portfolio.
Oh, we just had a real estate agent in here.
Oh, so.
What qualities do you think someone needs in order to go into business? Do they need to be the achiever? Do they need to be like attention to detail, or?
I think you need it all. I heard someone, and I honestly forget who it was. It was an entrepreneur on, I think, the How I Built This podcast, but she talked about you hire your weaknesses.
I've gotten that advice too.
Yes.
Hire out the things that you don't feel like you're good at, and don't worry about paying someone to do it. Just do it. It's worth it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've experienced that. I think so I am not a detail person. I am very big picture, broad strokes, creative. I can decorate a shop window, but I will not remember to pay taxes. So,
right.
So you do not want me to do that. And so for us, it's been like, okay, so how can I hire that person who can help with the details? So we actually hired a director of operations for our company.
Nice.
And I'm looking for a personal assistant. So if anyone's listening,
right? Yeah.
You're really good at details, you can DM us.
Oh, that's good.
So I think hiring your weaknesses is probably, or just knowing what they are.
Right.
Right?
Just so
be
true.
self-aware.
Right.
And you can't do it all. There is no such thing as having it all. It does not exist.
Right. Yeah. No, it comes at different seasons.
Yeah. You cannot you cannot have a clean, beautiful, rainbow organized fridge, house, whatever, and run all this.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Because you know who does the rainbow organization? Staff. Paid staff. Sorry. That's like my new pet peeve. Oh. Every time I see the rainbow organization.
I like that you're very honest and just lay it out there. Yeah, you don't pretend to have like the rainbow colored fridge and then the flourishing business and be the most amazing mom. Like you're saying, sometimes something's got to give.
Yes, because you're only one person.
Right.
I have the same 24 hours as anyone else. And so you have to make the call. What can you live with?
Right.
My garage is horrifying. But that's the choice I have to make at the moment. I cannot organize my garage.
But you're making such a difference. And I think that is so important to say that it doesn't discount you if you're not going to have the rainbow fridge or the super clean house. You are still making such an impact in this world. And my gosh.
Hopefully.
Yeah. No, you are.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think, if you're going into business, maybe have some perseverance.
Okay. Yes.
Be able to like get back up again when you get knocked down.
Yes.
Think outside the box. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of things you can we call it MacGyvering all the time. Like, just MacGyver it. I don't know.
What do people do before Google and YouTube? I'm like, I'll figure this editing thing out, you know?
Yes, exactly. Just you wind up being a jack of all trades, I think, because sometimes you don't have the money to hire out.
Right.
So you do have to figure out Google ads by yourself.
Right. That's so true. Yeah. Where can people find you, though?
So we're on all 3 shops on Instagram.
Okay.
We're pretty active on all locations. So we have the Children's Orchard Santa Clarita.
Okay.
And you can shop our stories, which is really fun. We'll send you an invoice if you see something on there you like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's really fun.
I know the stories put things like new finds and great finds.
Yes.
They'll put it up there, but I was like, oh, for sure it's gone by the time I get there. But no, we can purchase through.
You can DM us.
Okay.
It's so great. It's something that we are still getting better at, but we've started to do it, and it's been really successful. Because like you said, sometimes you're too busy to just run down and get it. So if you DM us an email, we'll just email you an invoice. You pay right from your phone.
So
Super
cool.
easy.
Okay.
And then you just come and get it whenever you can.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Okay, I love that.
So that's really fun. That's Children's Orchard Santa Clarita. And then we have the closet.Woodland Hills and the closet.Santa Monica are the Instagram pages for those. And you can also shop from those as well.
Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to connect you with Rise Foundation.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we've been able to host foster families kind of as one-offs. So a few times someone has reached out and said, like one time there was a family of 6 kids. Their parents had passed away.
Oh my
and their foster family was like, we have nothing. So they came in and they did a shopping day at Children's Orchard. It was so fun. We love getting to bless people. Okay. So as long as people reach out and, we can vet them in some way, we're happy to help.
Rise will also be the vet that gets a social worker in touch.
I love that.
Too.
Oh my goodness. I'd love to be connected.
Well, thank you so much for your time
Kelly.
today. I loved getting to know you, and just a huge shout out to Children's Orchard.
Yes, thanks, Kelly. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Oh my gosh, this is so good.
Thanks for listening to the SCV Connected podcast with my mom, Kelly O'Keefe. Don't forget to click on all 5 stars. Make sure to share this with friends and family, and stay connected.